Oh, okay, I guess we are skipping the loading screen there. Yeah, what's up guys, welcome to another Warcraft replay here. Has been a while, I do apologize, school just started about last week, and I haven't uploaded in about 2 weeks, so yeah, that is... oh well. According to Wikipedia, the happy goes by I love candies, so yeah, this should be the correct coloring and whatnot. I do apologize for not uploading in a while. I will maybe upload a second game tomorrow. It just depends on how I feel after this one, because it's pretty long. So there's that. This is going to be an undead mirror. I know you guys don't particularly like seeing the same things over and over again. That's why we call them standard. It just is kind of the way things are with how dominant Night Elf has been. I haven't looked at 1.31 patch at all, so I don't even know what changes actually happened there. Probably will take a look afterwards, but considering how I stick to Netease quite a bit, it's probably going to be irrelevant for quite some time. Either way, we have Happy spawning in as the red undead player in the bottom left. His opponent is going to be WFZ, the blue undead player in the bottom right. And yeah, honestly not much else to talk about. It looks like pretty similar openings here for both sides. We are, I believe, missing the... never mind, Tomb Relics is right there. Yeah, it looks to be the graveyard first for... nope, never mind. I got the Tomb Relics and graveyard mixed up here. Seems to be both TED openings for themselves. And yeah, Death Knight first, so that is going to be that. Nothing too wacky out of here for both sides. Even the resources are the same as... yeah. Maps on Twisted Meadows, obviously a big map, and kind of telling as to why this game is going to be pretty long. I believe the other game that I chose is on Twisted Meadows as well, and that is a sub 40-minute game as well, so can't say I'm really looking forward to that, but yeah, let's see how exciting this will be. We are going to have early creeping for WFZ, but we are going to have some early harassment here for Happy. This is going to be the first divergence here, as we do have WFZ going for that early tier 2 upgrade as well. It seems like Happy already started with his, and yeah, hope to get some Acolyte kills here, but with the Death Knight for both sides, one to heal, one to actually not do damage, so it's going to be rather unreliable to get any of these Acolytes to fully die. Either way, Happy is going to just take some damage with this Death Knight. Skeletons really can't do too much by themselves, and with the Acolytes running around, it is going to be really difficult to just catch these guys. And yeah, that is going to be that. So far so good for, I would say, WFZ, since he did get some early farming down, and of course took down some skeletons as well. Some health off of the health of that Death Knight, but yeah, other than that, it looks to be pretty good for WFZ. Happy, I believe, is just going to go to some farming here. He needs to catch up quite a bit since his Death Knight did lose a lot during that exchange. And tier 2 completion, I'm not sure what this is going to lead into here. It's probably just going to be standard. I mean, yeah, from what I remember, Undead, not really that innovative in terms of army compositions, just going to be Crypt Fiends into Destroyers here. Of course, the number of Crypt Fiends might be the deciding factor between these two players, as well as, of course, the heroes that they pick. But it is most likely going to be Lich second and possibly Dark Ranger third, as we do have the Gold Miner here being taken down by WFZ, so he will be able to take that away from his opponents. Of course, he's actually just going to take down the Magi and pick up the Pendant Energy, so yeah, not that big of a steal, but it is going to give the Death Knight level 2. Overseer Camp does get taken out, and that does give level 2 over to Happy's Death Knight as well. Oh, and we are going to have an encounter here as we are going to swap over to population. 25 for Happy, 28 for WFZ. We do have one more Crypt Fiend over Happy right here, so he is going to be forced to back off a little bit as, never mind. Second Crypt Fiend is going to come over, and Death Knight is not looking that healthy for WFZ, so he needs to be really careful not to be forced to burn that TP scroll, but thankfully it's just a Death Knight. Death Coils can't actually be used for healing, so there is going to be that. Nice steal from WFZ, able to pick up that little bit of experience there from the Normal Warden. As the Overseer is just going to be dragged around left and right, it seems. Okay, getting a couple of pot shots here onto the Death Knight. We do hear the Lich popping out for WFZ, but most likely both sides as well. Right. It does seem to be slightly delayed Lich, as we do have a slightly earlier Black Citadel for Happy. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty even for both sides. Resource-wise, Happy is sitting on quite a bit of gold. Where he will use that might actually depend on, obviously, the completion of the tier 3, but we do have the Lich popping out here in time to defend. One ghoul does get taken out with a nice Frost Nova from WFZ's Lich, and the second one is going to drop as well. So it looks like that little bit of gold is going to have to be used to replace those ghouls. Meanwhile, yeah, we might have some gold being expended here for WFZ in that replacement TP scroll, as we did have an attempt here to try and focus down the Lich. Will not be able to do so as the TP scroll is successfully channeled. And yeah, I believe all three ghouls were taken out, so a lot of gold is going to be required to replace them, and that is pretty much the resources that were saved up from Happy earlier. He is going to be forced to just use that in getting his ghouls back. Troll Warlock Camp is going to get taken out here, and hopefully a good item gets dropped for Happy. Meanwhile, the Rock Golem Camp is going to be here, started for WFZ, and I believe this one gives a basic and a consumable, which Wand of Mana Stealing is not too great, but it does seem to be pretty useful in this kind of circumstance. And of course, plus the agility, which is not exactly useful. Yeah, I don't think any of the undead heroes actually are agility based, which is interesting to think about. Of course, you can always give it over to the Dark Ranger, but the Dark Ranger is not going to be here for quite some time, I imagine. Actually, never mind, Black Citadel is completed, so we could just pick it up instantly. It is going to be a pain to run around with a couple of low-level heroes rather than, you know, one high and one low. But it could be possible here. Nice Nova is going to be chunking down that Lich, but a Death Coil is going to rectify that a little bit. Crypt Fiend is going to get focused down instead, and that is going to be an easy kill over for Happy. Dark Ranger does get picked up by Happy, and we'll try and prevent the Death Knight from healing up, but honestly it's only him that's kind of low health, so the silence is not too useful. But here comes another silence from WFZ's recently acquired Dark Ranger there. You can see that the Wand of Mana Stealing did get used, but with the silences going around, I don't know, or it's really difficult to keep track of who can and who can't actually cast spells. But either way, a couple of Crypt Fiends do drop, and that is going to be I would say a one victory for WFZ. Happy did choose to retreat first, so it could be a win for WFZ. Either way, the hero comps looks to be, you know, set in stone. Obviously, Dark Ranger as the third and final. She is, yeah, gonna be one of those major players here in trying to gain the opportunities to finish games and, of course, prevent the Death Knight from healing up, as we are going to have Destroy Form started here for WFZ. Happy, not sure if he's done it yet either. Nope, he is still Destroyer-less with that upgrade, so he will probably do that next. as we do have this Goblin Lab taken out. Another Troll Warlord camp here is going to be started for WFZ, and this is going to be dropped. One of those level 6 items here. What is it going to be? Over Darkness, so not bad actually. It does help quite a bit for the Lich, because Liches do love that damage items anywhere he can get it. But of course, it does kind of conflict with the Black Arrows of the Dark Ranger, so priority-wise, it is going to be a bit of a challenge to do. I'm pretty sure the Black Arrows for the Dark Ranger actually get priority though, so even if you kill with the Orb of Darkness, the skeletal minions are going to be from the Dark Ranger. Never mind, it seems like because of that because of access to Black Arrows, the Orb of Darkness is not going to be kept. Either way, expansion on the top right here, it is pretty much in the opposite direction of his opponent, so assumingly it's going to be safe. Of course, there's no Necropolis to TB2, so unless that does get built, it is kind of vulnerable.
Our forces are under attack.
Both sides are taking advantage of just the map itself. Twisted Meadows obviously has a lot of creep camps to go after. We do have the corner camps, which have the Granite Golem here on the top left and the bottom right, I think, and the dragons. Oh no, wait, it's not dragons.
Our forces are under attack.
Ah, that's interesting. I actually didn't realize that this was changed. I think this was changed in the 1.30 patch as well, which is kind of telling in how much I've actually paid attention to this particular map. I don't think I've casted many TMs, to be honest, but here comes a big fight here. Population right now is pretty even, but the first damage has been dealt towards Happy's side. He is going to lose a couple of Crypt Fiends if he is not so careful. Silences are being cast onto these Death Knights here to prevent the healings from coming down. Death Coil is going to heal up that Dark Ranger, as we are going to have multiple Crypt Fiends dropping to that Frost Nova there. And population right now is fairly even. We do have one Destroyer in the air, however, which obviously is not for Happy. So things might be looking good for WFZ. He is taking the supply advantage right about now, as we do have a couple of curses coming in as well, as we do hear a Banshee Scream being taken down there for WFZ. TP Scroll is going to be used there for the Dark Ranger of Happy, and yeah, the Dark Ranger of WFZ was about to get taken out there. Thankfully, Death Coil was enacted in time. Temple of the Damned for WFZ, Temple of the Damned for Happy. It seems like Happy was the first one to get his Banshees out, so that curse might have been useful. I don't know if it actually was. We are going to have to need a lot more application of that curse. But either way, expansions here has been spotted by the skeleton of WFZ, but yeah, I don't think WFZ is actually in a position to really do anything about this, aside from like sending skeletons. Both sides are at 50 here, and
our forces are under attack.
yeah, they are just mirroring each other, to be honest. All it comes down to is positioning and who focus fires better, really. Gold Mine gets taken out, and the item is going to be the Greater Mana Potion here for the Death Knight of WFZ. Necropolis is going to be completed very soon, as it seems like WFZ did go into low upkeep.
Our forces are under
So
attack.
if this lasts a fairly long time, it will eventually add up to the differences here in terms of gold gain, but it seems like, as I say it, Happy is going to dip into that low upkeep himself as well.
Our forces are under attack.
We do hear, I believe, the Abomination training completed for, I'm pretty sure it is WFZ, but where are they? There they are. There's the first one. As we actually do catch out a little bit on this on this creep camp attempt here, as WFZ is going to push his opponent away. I actually have no idea who picked up the item first, as... what was this camp? It was a Magi camp, so...
Our forces are under attack.
What gets dropped here? Is it just a normal standard item, or I'm pretty sure it's like a consumable? Either way, we are gonna go for an engagement right here. Abomination taking quite a bit of damage, is gonna get healed up thanks to the death coils there. But you can see the differences. Green shield on the left side for the red team, meanwhile no green shield on the right side. So these spiders do have some protection against that Frost Nova, but is that going to be enough? It seems like it might not be, as the Death Knight of Happy is going to get focus fired and force the TP scroll away. So yeah, that is quite telling. I don't know if that TP scroll was warranted because of the focus fire, or if because he was actually genuinely losing it, because I actually thought that Happy was winning on that big skirmish, but yeah, just because his Death Knight did get focus fired there, he kind of had to save his Death Knights at all costs, to be honest. More Fiends are being trained up here. I believe both sides do now have Destroyer form. Yep, we do. It does seem like WFZ has the more upgrades. He has the Master's Training on his Banshees, and yeah, he has +1/+1 attack upgrades and armor upgrades, as well as the Burrow for those Fiends. So yeah, I don't know where Happy's investment went into, but hopefully that is going to work, as we do have a bunch of curses being cast onto the red side here. Hopefully those destroyers do find it rather delicious to absorb them quickly. Death Coil is going to be a little too late there for Happy, and yeah, both Death Knights are pretty low health. You need to be extremely careful not to overextend, as we do have a TP scroll being cast for WFZ side now. So yeah, basically mirroring each other this time. But yeah, that was a lot of curses on the red side. I'm surprised that it was that close, to be honest, because there weren't actually that many Banshees for Happy side to cast curses back. Either way, yeah, this was a lot differently than I thought it would go. I thought it was going to be a lot more emphasis on the Crypt Fiends. I mean, obviously Crypt Fiends do seem to be the most trained units here in this game, but the Banshees do kind of screw it up a little bit. Like, Curse gives the, I think, 33% chance to miss your attack, so that is pretty big when you cast it on the majority of your opponent's side. And yeah, all in all, it just kind of depends on the usage of your destroyers, whether or not they can get rid of the curses and turn it into mana themselves they can use, or if they just, you know, devour the magic immediately and not wait for like the right time to do it.
Our forces are under attack.
Acolyte maybe trying to expand on this side, but yeah, I think troubled waters it seems for WFZ. He can obviously go for this gold mine if he wants, but this one's probably as difficult to defend compared to this one as well, so I don't really know too much. But attack coming in for Happy. TP scroll is going to be channeled by WFZ, and yeah, it's going to be TPing right into that chunk. Wave is going to be cast onto that destroyer, so destroyers need to be extremely careful despite curses left and right being able to be absorbed. Yeah, they themselves get shredded after they get webbed. Army supply 67 for Happy, 69 for WFZ, but this is obviously WFZ's home court advantage, so things are not going to be looking good for our red undead player unless he has some sort of solid plan. But right now it seems like he is just losing his units over to what I'm assuming is going to be eventually a focus fire onto this Death Knight. Invuln has been taken out, but the focus fire has not actually changed, and might be a bit problematic there. The TP scroll is finally going to get used. Where does he TP to? He actually TPs back home. Oh, I must have been like super tripping because I thought it was WFZ that went TP scrolling, but apparently that was Happy. So yeah, it's honestly just the fact that WFZ was able to just get his units instantly as soon as they come out of their production. Meanwhile, Happy needs to wait for them to finish training and of course just walk across the map. So there was a slight disadvantage there for that particular fight, as we are still pumping out those Banshees.
Our forces are under attack.
Now the skirmish coming in here. Both sides finally do have that Master's training, so needs to be careful not to lose your units over to possession, as we are going to have the Death Knight taken down there for Happy, and WFZ might actually keep his alive for the remainder of the fight. That is a huge momentum swing here, and of course that is going to force Happy to revive his dead hero, as we are not looking good for our blue and undead player. Although I say that, but all I've been hearing are blue units dying left and right, so I could be wrong. Lich is below half health, so is the Death Knight of his opponent, but the Lich needs to be extremely careful. He does have an invuln if he needs it, but I mean, really can't react to like Nova because it is instantaneous. As yep, we are gonna have that that invuln being burnt there for Lich. He is gonna heal up thanks to, I believe, a healing potion or a death coil from the Death Knight. Actually, what was that death coil? He did die recently, so I believe he revived through either the altar or the tavern. Considering he wasn't actually half health, it probably was through the altar, and I am just severely overestimating the respawn times through level, was it 4 hero? Yeah, level 4 hero. Both sides are settling on their closest gold mines here.
Our town is under attack.
Yeah, that might actually be good for probably Happy. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, supply differential is now huge, which I'm super surprised about. I mean, like, WC3 didn't really need to invest in quite a bit during this time. But here we go. Lots of green shields here. It's making it very difficult to actually spot who gets focus fired or not. But yeah, first blood already. As second fiend is going to bite the dust here. As yep, Happy is just returning the favor. The main difference between these two armor comps, honestly, is the lack of the abomination for the red side. So tanking these attacks might not actually. Actually, yeah, tanking these attacks are pretty worth it. These abominations are finding quite a lot of value here, but yeah, with no access to taunt, obviously, it's going to be really difficult to reliably tank things. But either way, it is looking pretty good for Happy, despite having the lowish ground. I'm pretty sure this is the low ground. I don't know if he is getting the penalties and fighting on the low ground, but I am seeing a lot of misprocs here. But that could actually just be credited to the curse. So I don't know, it's really hard to find out which is caused by what, as another Death Coil is going to heal up that Crypt Fiend, as I believe that is the last bit of mana for the the Death Knight of Happy. So he either needs to finish this fight up or he needs to retreat. as it seems like he was able to force his opponent to recoil back thanks to a TP. So unfortunately, he didn't actually TP scroll back to a far enough home. So yeah, as long as this Death Knight heals up, yeah, he can just resume his attack once again. Armor supply is different by 10, as Happy is currently in the lead, as he is looking for another expansion here. Acolyte, nope, this was a skeleton. We could potentially have a matched up expansion here on the top right, but yeah, otherwise Happy is going to overtake his opponent in terms of economy, and hopefully that will translate into overtaking in terms of army as well. 77 for Happy, 72 for WFZ. Green bubbles are being cast, it seems. Not quite so for the blue side here. Maybe they have found a different alternative to fighting this, but honestly I really can't find it, as it seems like he is just going to be running away here. Gonna lose a crit fiend for this, but here comes the major fight. Destroyer is in the air, at least one of them is, but with the whip they are going to be prevented in doing quite a bit. Yeah, just honestly with these green bubbles it is very hard to tell which unit is what and what side they belong to, but yeah, I'm trying a little bit. Death Knight still has his green bubble for Happy, so he is not so worried about getting bursted down here from any of these undead heroes. WFZ's DK on the other hand is not shielded, but he's not even getting focus fired either, so things might be pretty good. Walker Fiends have Bite the Dust here for basically both sides. Death Knights are kind of running out of mana for each of them, so yeah, they kind of need to do their part, which might not seem enough here. We have a lot of statues for Happy, which I am super surprised about. What I am also surprised about is that most of them aren't actually turning into destroyers, so this turn can't, at least this fight can't actually get ran down immediately. Happy is going to be the one to TP scroll, however, which is rather surprising. Yeah, this game is a weird one. I am kind of losing. I'm kind of losing my direction here. I'm getting very lost during these team fights. The green bubbles definitely don't help, and yeah, the fact that both players are kind of mirroring each other, it is kind of difficult to keep track of all things. Nice Frost Nova is going to take a good chunk out of those Banshees, however, and that is going to give level 5 to Dark Ranger. Yeah, that was the Dark Ranger tick there. Something I have not actually tossed about is the True Shot ore available for the red side, which has been going on for the majority of the game. But surprisingly enough, it's still even. Destroyers are going to absorb as many curses and green bubbles as they can. Death Coil is going to try and heal him up as best as he can, but yeah, the DK needs to be careful about his own health as well. Death Coil is going to heal up that Abomination, and he still has plenty more coils to go, so nowhere near risking that loss in DPS. Lich, on the other hand, is going to get bursted down to about 30, 40, never mind, 10-20% health. A-Bomb does get taken down. That is kind of a huge win here for the blue undead player. And now all he needs to do is kite a little bit before, yeah, before more of those actually come, as we do have a Death Knight taken out there. I didn't actually say anything because I was actually shocked that that actually happened. It was kind of in the fault of yeah, of the DK to stick around for so long. I mean, he's been like juggling back and forth in terms of positioning, like getting into Death Coil and then getting out slightly, just slightly out of range. But yeah, that one death is going to be quite costly. 76 for Happy, 70 for WFZ, as it is going to be Happy the one looking to try and siege things here. Is going to take down a Nubian tower, and he might lose a Crypt Fiend for it, but probably, well, he is going to lose one. Will he be able to take more?
Our forces are under attack.
Dark Ritual used there to deny at least one of those Crypt Fiends, so yeah, it's definitely a weird one. A game where both sides don't actually harass the expansion is extremely weird to me. This gold mine has mined about good 10,000 gold, I would say. Right, 10,000 gold?
Our forces are under attack.
It might actually be 2,000 golds. It could be like 7,500 golds. Either way, another fight coming in. A-Bomb is going to get taken down for WFZ, but he does have a second one available. Meanwhile, Happy still doesn't have an Abomination of his own. I guess he was relying on his amass. Wait. Yeah, honestly, I got lost here. But WFZ is slowly losing a couple of units. Yeah, not many red units. We do have a bit of reinforcements here with one Crypt Fiend and one Abomination. Oh, extremely close on that kill there for the Death Knights, but he is gonna live with that TP scroll. DK of Happy is also extremely low as well, so he needs to be careful not to get Frost Novad out of nowhere. But yeah, this is a 76 supply army. Sure, that's a lot of statues, but I could have sworn a like 80 supply army would be a lot bigger. Maybe they're just being produced, but yeah, all that's gonna do is like 2 or 3 units extra. Yeah, this is not a good position for Happy to fight in, but he is still sticking to it. Obviously, he kind of realized that he has been getting a lot of miss procs, whether or not that's due to curse or because of that height advantage here. Needs to slightly reposition a little bit more. DK running around. Oh wow. Okay. Not sure what he was actually expecting there. Obviously, the Frost Nova was coming, and I mean even I saw that coming. But yeah, possibly a misposition on his DK. I don't know, but that is his second death, I believe, in this particular game. Lich is out of mana despite being level 6, so we are most likely not going to be having that death and decay, which could be as deadly as Blizzard, but it doesn't look like it. We do have a possession special effect actually being used as well. I'm surprised that a full possession was successfully cast, but yeah, now that it has come to the attention of the red undead units, Banshee is probably just going to get focus fired as soon as possible.
Our forces are under attack.
One more A-Bomb gets added to the blue mix here, as we have some harassment onto this gold mine. This one ghoul is going to just tear it down himself, which is rather impressive to actually see. More Crypt Fiends being added here, but they are slowly getting picked off one by one, just because of yeah, just the poor positioning that they were initially in. DK still not revived yet. He has quite a bit to go. But to be honest, like even if he does come back, what is he exactly going to do by himself? Yeah, not sure. Yeah, WFZ just does not look like he is in a good position. Happy is about 20 supply ahead, and yeah, more importantly, he hasn't actually lost that many. He hasn't lost any heroes, I don't think, in the game so far. Bit of blocking is going to be done by WFZ, or bit of blocking will be done a little bit by Happy, but WFZ is going to take down a couple of statues regardless. Health differential you gotta keep in mind here for WFZ. He already lost his DK twice. Don't want to make that number 3, as the Frost Nova is going to hit that Banshee clump there, so even harder to keep channeling on that channel, on that position. And yeah, so far with the Dark Ranger being chunked there, she does have level 6, which is kind of a game changer, but both Dark Rangers do have access to their ultimate abilities. Not enough mana, obviously, but Charm can be a devastating late game tool. Of course, it could also just be completely useless because one Dark Ranger possesses and then the other one possesses it back. So, all in all, this is a weird game. It's super weird. Now that the supply advantage has completely flipped upside down, it is now 65 versus 73. 62 versus 73. This expansion is being attacked by a couple of acolytes here. They did mine quite some gold off of it though, I believe 500 gold, so maybe the expansion already paid for itself, but yeah, kind of not what you want from an expansion. You kind of want a whole lot more return on investment, but yeah, probably not this time. Deep Scroll is going to be cast by Happy, and this expansion might actually be forced to be left alone here. Where on earth? Oh, there they are. So trippy. I thought they might have TP'd back to one of the other expansions, maybe this one to defend versus this Acolyte threat, but yeah, not really. This TP'd for possibly access to the shop and healing up. And yeah, expansion down. How much gold is left here? About 4,000 gold, so it could be significant. I don't actually really know. We are currently, surprising enough, in a peacetime right now, which is rather odd to see. I mean, both sides going back and forth, countering each other and whatnot. Now we are just
our forces are under attack.
Holding our attacks. Someone's upside down supply. It seems like it is WFZ. What did he lose? He actually lost this expansion? No, the gold mine has depleted, and I believe he just unsummoned his necropolis, so that is kind of the reason why we are upside down supply right now. You can see their position is going to take and steal one of those abominations there. Will the same thing happen for WFZ? It might not look like it. He is just going to kill it instead. Where on earth is the Dark Ranger? She is not here. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Okay, she was behind the statue. I don't see another charm coming from her, which is odd. She just, I mean, WFZ instantly lost an abomination. I thought that maybe he would like to return the favor. I guess not. Still quite a good number of Cryptines still available for the blue side. Statues are looking pretty even for both sides. But yeah, it is kind of the heroes and the melee unit, which is that abomination, that could pose a bit of a problem.
Our forces are under attack.
Gold mines in the corners are still available. This gold mine has about 2,000 gold left, so about a minute, maybe? I think that's how it goes. 10k is still here, which I guess it is understandable. Happy did take a bit of an acolyte threat. This gold mine still has a couple of seconds left. And here we go with another attack. Dust Appearance is going to be used to try and take out those borrowed Crypt Fiends there. Lich with level 6. I believe DK is level 7. No, he's actually still level 6. So level 6, level 6, level 7. Still haven't seen Death and Decay yet. I think that might be, you know, quite significant in terms of DPS, but maybe not with the green shields. I think that the green shields might not be able to actually take the full damage of that Death and Decay, but oh well, what do I know? And the fight is ensuing as we are still about 20 supply ahead for the red side here. Definitely doesn't look like it, but that is what the stats are saying. Death Knight for WFZ is getting chunked quite a bit. Green Shield no longer, so he is susceptible to that Frost Nova, which actually does indeed happen. Banshees, yeah, kind of out of mana, to be honest. They've been casting that curse a little too much, and this might be the swing that Happy actually needed. Either way, level 7 is going to be attained for the Dark Ranger of WFZ. When did she get True Shot Aura herself? I actually have no idea. That is actually... that's really odd. I must have dozed off because I didn't actually realize when she picked one up for herself. Happy actually being forced to retreat a little bit despite having that huge supply advantage. And of course the hero advantage as well. The Death Knight's still dead for WFZ, but Happy is still the one being forced to retreat a little bit. Ziggurats were placed down next to this expansion, possibly threatening for a couple of spirit towers there, but now that they have been dealt with, yeah, WFZ is kind of losing ground here, is going to lose 2 or 3 Crypt Fiends in a matter of seconds here. So, yeah, not looking good for WFZ. He is, I believe, out of gold mines now. This one still has a couple of seconds left, but yeah, now that this one gets depleted, WFZ kind of actually has to make do with what he has. Another charm is going to be cast that is going to steal away an abomination there. I could have sworn you can just instantly charm your stolen units back, but I guess that might not be the case, or maybe the Dark Ranger actually has no mana, which is actually the real reason why she didn't cast it. Death Knight returns, and is this enough momentum to kind of swing things towards WFZ's favor? It doesn't look like it. Happy's supply cap, or supply, is still rising slightly towards that 80 supply, and that is all due to the fact that this one gold mine is still in Happy's control. So A-Bomb taking quite a beating there. He will most likely get healed up with another Death Coil when the Death Knight is not being completely drained out of mana here. Lich, nice healing right there for the Death Knight, but that is one of very few Death Coils that the Death Knight has left in him. And yeah, basically this game just went down to who had the most expansions, and the answer is apparently Happy. And of course both sides couldn't really risk abandoning their bases to try and take down the corner camps, and yeah, that is kind of the flaw of Twisted Meadows here, I would say. Yeah, it's just hard to defend when you're trying to take down the creep camps on the islands. Is there any way to come back for this? Nope. Happy even casts the Raise the Undead to get those invulnerable ghouls. some of them did actually get taken out, which I am not sure how. But either way, that is going to be that most likely. WFZ only has about 49 supply versus Happy's 80. And his main base is in shambles. No real way of coming back from this. Yeah, that is going to be that. GG for WFZ, I guess, and that is going to be this Undead Mirror. Oh, well, it seems like the game crashed. No score screen for us, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys again next time. Apologies if I seemed out of it. That was, yeah, that was quite a doozy on me.